Alright, so the OCG Banlist dropped. You can see the forbidden cards on the screen already, so there's no time to waste. We need to go ahead and get started and talk about the ban list and also its implication for the TCG. But before we get started, I just want to encourage you to like the video if you liked it. Also, make sure to comment all your thoughts and how you think it's going to affect our game over here. So if we look at the ban list, Fenrir is now banned, which it was limited before, and I think this is like, it's a very, very big hit, and we'll see if something similar happens here in the fall when we have a list that's probably going to hit Kashtira. We also have the FTK enabler for the Super Heavy Samurai deck, so I think it's cool that they addressed it, and it's also really interesting how over here we never saw the FTK as much as we saw like the board making and all of that, maybe because they have Max C and we don't. So there's that, but we have Super Heavy Samurai hit anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then Cyberstein is a hit over there as well. So I think it was like limited, semi-limited, something like that, but now it's banned. I think they also realized that it is a mistake to keep this card around. It's way too busted and enables too much stuff. And Smoke Grenade of the Thief, from my research, I think it was actually unlimited, so we have it banned. So like we know it's a problem. So like I think the cards that they hit over here, I think also that's everything from the ban section. I think all of these are really, really good choices, but we will see what happens like on the other like pictures when it comes to Kashtira specifically, Super Heavy Samurai, and all these dominant decks. So moving on to the limited portion, we have Monkey Board, which was banned, I assume, and now it came back and we have it at 1 anyway. It isn't doing anything. And then we have Mathematic Circular, which they inspired from us. I mean, they didn't, they just made a hit, but like it makes sense. Circular has to be a 1. Probably has to be banned, but that's just me talking, you know, and being biased. So it's a very good hit. Mathematic was very dominant over there, and I think it's a smart hit. And then we have Soul Piercer, which also just not a hard once per turn. The card is just stupid, and now it's a 1, which is cool. And it's interesting that these are like the only hits so far. Like Scarecrow for us really mattered, you know, in terms of hitting the deck. So we'll see if they have any other significant hits, because this can still be looped, you know. And then MX Zebra Invoker. Now this one kind of scares me a tiny bit. I saw it when it was still legal over here in the TCG, and it did a lot. It did a lot. So we'll see what happens. I like it that they put it to 1 in the OCG, and then we're going to be able to kind of tell what happens. But like, yeah, I guess it's cool. And then we have the Sleepy Memories. So they decided to hit Sleepy, we hit the Delicious. In my opinion, Delicious was better, like it did much more, especially for the opening turn. But Sleepy is also busted. Being able to draw like 4 cards or something is kind of insane. But the Delicious is what really made an impact, like I said, going first. So we'll see what happens to the deck over there. I think it's going to like give us sort of like inspiration for how the deck can be built over here as well, because cards are hit. So I don't know, we'll see. I like this. I think it makes sense. Also, Pearly was over there, like, you know, alive for a longer period of time, so it makes sense. And then we have Prosperity to 1. So they put it to 2, now they put it to 1, and over here it's still at 3. So it just makes sense. They usually hit pot cards way before we do, and they like to hit consistency. And I don't know, maybe I wouldn't necessarily put it to 1, because it does give a lot to like trap decks or some other decks that might not be able to hang otherwise. But I guess it makes sense. We'll see. I'm really curious to see if TCG actually follows suit and does the same thing or a similar thing. And then Runic Fountain, so I think it was a 2 over there as well, if I'm not mistaken, and now they put it to 1, which makes a little bit more sense than over here when they put it to 2. But I also assume that Runic is going to be further hit in the fall over here as well. So, and then we have Semi-Limited. Okay, so there's another Super Heavy Samurai hit. I like this a lot because the bike is just, it enables so much, it's kind of insane. So yeah, I like this hit. And Armageddon Knight to 2, so it was a 1 for the longest time over there as well, I think. So I think this is cool. When I started playing, it was still at 3, the card was busted, and now it's at 1 over here for a very long time. So maybe this happens. We'll see. And then the Meowmoo to 2. So this, like, we have it banned. Like, I'm not even gonna get into it. I would love to see a comeback, because Prankets would probably be power crept to, like, oblivion, so it wouldn't really matter. And then Block Dragon to 2. So this is interesting, because Block Dragon, like, enabled a lot. But if I'm not mistaken, did they play Super Heavy Samurai together with this? They probably did, right? So if this is the only hit to like everything Earth pile, we'll see how further dominant those piles will be, you know, because Block Dragon from like unlimited to 2 is not a very significant hit, because one Block Dragon still does too much, I think. So we'll see what happens with this. This is something I'm gonna have to keep an eye out on. And for the last section over here, we have cards that are no longer on the list. Ancient Fairy Dragon, that's fine. And also Gazelle, we'll maybe see something like this over here. They had some issues with Saryuja. Saryuja was on the list for some time, so now it's not anymore. Over here, we never really touched Saryuja. And then we have the Ptolemaeus, which makes sense that it's no longer on there. Also Steam the Cloak, which is cool. The Hawk, man, these are like old cards at this point, you know, Hawk. Tinky to 3, which is really nice. Nadir Servant to 3 as well. I like all of these. Like, all of these make sense. They don't seem like they're going to be like too dangerous or something like that. And also Spellbook of Judgment. So yeah, actually looking at this entire list, I really like it. They touched the problems. They adjust Super Heavy Samurai, the FTK in particular. They, I guess, you know, did something to the Earth stuff. They limited Circular, which is also nice. I like this. Pearly took a hit. The consistency cards, this came back, so we'll see what happens. Runic, and like the Kashtira Fenrir is like the biggest one. So I like this list, and I'm really excited to see what happens over here in the TCG as well. Of course, we're gonna have to wait a bit, but still, I think this is a cool precedent, I think, to go off of it. So if you like this video, make sure to like it, and also let me know your thoughts. I'm really excited to see what happens over here, like I said. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.